I'd hear you there.
They do everything possible to keep her alive, and well, since that didn't work, give up.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of live, you're all live. Could one of you check the stream thingy to make sure that I'm able to talk?
Yeah, let me.
Tell us call real quick, guys.
I put a link in the thing.
Yeah, I'm on the site. I'm just waiting for it to. There it is.
Ooh, there it is. It should be a little bit delayed, so you should hear this in a few seconds.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So I guess the stream is good now. It just updated and required me to change to only leaving the mic open. So we were talking about DuPont and how DuPont died. Such a tragedy, such a tragedy. So few brain cells.
So few. Much less now that she's 6 feet under.
Not quite under yet, but definitely dead. So, did you want to do her funeral without her? Since that's generally how funerals are done? Or did you want to wait for her to come back to see what happened to her character?
I got no problem putting her to rest right here and now.
Me too.
All right. So if I remember correctly, Casey was at the dock working, and War Priest basically just followed Kuwait back to town as he walked through town with her dead body. Was that about right?
That's it. I realized there was much else I could do for her.
Yeah, that's about all we could do.
She was really adamant about me getting her stuff, though, and I just, I'm going to leave that entirely up to him and see if I can persuade her to give us the belongings at some point.
Okay. And I do believe there are some minor amount of winnings on her death.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody gets paid because she died.
Right, those were in our goblin's name, though.
Correct. Her winnings go to Sasmo, because that's what she did. But I think Douglas also bet on her dying as well, hedging bets.
I don't remember doing so. I hedged him on the other guy, I think.
I thought you bet both ways, like a very small amount on her dying, and then a very small amount on her living.
I don't have that noted down. I only had it on her not living.
Okay, well, you won your bet.
Or so, on her living.
Oh, well then you lost your bet. What a terrible person you are.
It's a shame. I should have hedged. I should have expected her to die.
Hey, I have a question, and this kind of goes along with how I've been playing my character here. I have, for a long time there, I've tried to do the lawful good thing, and I feel like I'm just not doing it right. So what I want to do is I actually want to switch my alignment to lawful neutral, if that would work.
Well, you haven't done anything particularly bad. What do you feel like you're not doing good?
I just feel like I'm not being super good, And I've always thought about lawful good being just the awe of justice. And I feel like I've done a couple things that instead of doing everything possible to keep somebody alive, like in this situation, I really didn't attack the guy that was trying to kill her. And I kind of feel like I played it smart, which is a lawful neutral aspect of that versus a lawful good. And I feel like I've done it a couple times. But anyway.
I guess that kind of does make sense as more of a lawful neutral, since you didn't really put yourself in the way of bodily harm for her.
And I think it fit the character better, too. I just think I can play it more of a lawful neutral, follow the law at every point, but keep yourself alive at the same time.
And you also didn't see all of the all the undead in that camp and think every single one of these guys has to die right this second, or else.
Yeah, which would have been a lawful good, maneuver.
Yeah, that's true.
Or lawful stupid.
Although I tend to think of lawful good characters as marking this spot down and saying, I was definitely unable to handle it right then because I didn't have what I needed. I need to come back.
Although he did eventually get to the point where he realized that he could dismantle every single one of them by singling them out one by one, but then didn't go about doing that.
Yeah, but he was also under a time limit to try to save his friend. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to look at this, and I don't think that the undead are leaving, and when you know that they're not leaving, and you have to specifically go save your friend before time is up, you probably are going to go save your friend first.
Yeah. Yeah, that falls in the lawful neutral, though.
I mean, fair enough. I'm not saying you can't do it. It does make sense. And, the funeral is probably going to shake your beliefs a little bit. So you took another level of priest, I'm assuming?
Another what?
You leveled up to priest, not bard, right?
Oh, yeah. I was talking bard as a spell from the ritual casting that we were talking about. And I liked heroism. I thought that looked like a good spell, but again, just getting an extra one on my DCs and checks and stuff like that, I thought that the wisdom's a better way to go.
And Douglas, you leveled up your normal class, right?
Yes.
Okay. So since War Priest is following him back, I want War Priest to make a perception roll as soon as he starts to get back into town.
And it's back.
Well, that was performance, so let's try perception this time and hope it's not a nat one.
Oh my God, look at me rolling the wrong thing.
Well, it's been a week.
That's not too much better.
But at least it's not a 1.
But at least it's enough to notice that the sky has gone completely pitch black and you know this is during the day. This isn't night. And the only thing visible in the sky is that purple streak, which has now extended basically from horizon to horizon.
And I finally figured out that when it's like that, that's when there's undead around everywhere.
Maybe. I mean, at some point, it felt like it might have been nighttime and undead might have come out more, but you don't really know.
All right, it's just what I'm picking up on is anytime I see that up in the sky, I generally see undead. And when it's not up there, it seems like the undead are not around. But anyway, I'll need more time to figure this part out. But
well, that's been up in the sky for like the last 3 days. So since you guys basically got on the boat, that's been in the sky. It hasn't left. It's just been getting longer towards the east until you don't know when it just suddenly went from horizon to horizon.
I don't know. I haven't really been outside lately.
Correct, you haven't. But anyway, the other thing you notice is that as his feet start to touch pavement, the pavement seems to depress a little bit as he continues walking through town, and his feet start glowing a bit of a purplish haze. It's the same color as the streak in the sky.
He's going to absorb soul.
yeah, okay.
Anyway, when he notices you finally caught up with him, because he did stop just inside of town, he tells you he'll send for somebody for you to come for the final preparations, but he needs to make preparations now. He's going to take her body to. It's essentially a shrine near the north side of town, which is used for multiple deity worship. So basically, as long as it has been reserved in advance, you can perform whatever rites there. The ground is considered holy for all but like 3 religions. So, pitch black, a little bit after midday, giant purple line across the sky. The prince has basically said, "I will summon you when you're needed," and walked off. What would you like to do now?
All right. Is there any chance I'll be able to just pace him, I guess, and follow from a distance without having a problem? Basically, when he sees me doing this, does he have an issue with it?
He has no issue whatsoever. You can follow him wherever. He basically goes to that shrine like he told you, and there's a small contingent of priests waiting. He hands the body to them and tells them basically to prep it for the afterlife. He looks around at you and he says, "You're free to watch them prep the body. I need to go home and prepare for the ceremony."
All righty. Sounds good. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if there's anything different done in this ritual that they're performing than what I'm normally used to.
It's going to be very different, but go ahead and roll your knowledge religion and see if you can identify what's going on.
There we go. Doing real good here.
Try knowledge nature. Maybe that'll help a little.
Knowledge nature. Yeah, intelligence isn't my strong suit, but it's the rolling that I'm having the problem with. And I literally just rolled a 19 that went off the board. Hey, a natural 20. But I didn't roll it the right way.
That's fine. I'll call it a natural 20. So you're not quite sure what the religious significance of any of this stuff is, but basically they take her into the center area of the open shrine, and 2 elderly women start to dress her in a very fine purple silk robe. They make sure that if there are any cuts or bruises, they have been powdered out with makeup or covered up as best they can be. They basically try to make her look as presentable as possible in this essentially gown, and basically they're trying to make her look beautiful.
Well, I like it. I think that's a pretty damn good thing to do. I was a little worried that they were gonna, cut the heart out and go blah 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 blah.
In the meantime, the men are bringing in log after log of this tree that is not native to any area you know. So it must be something specific to this land. It has a deep red interior. It does not look like standard wood. You're not quite sure what that means, but they split each log in half the long way with a special silver kind of like hooked axe. And if they don't do it in one cut, they discard the log. And then they proceed to start stacking a funeral pyre.
Huh. Well, it looks like they're really going out of their way to take care of her, quote unquote.
The difference between this funeral pyre and most that you've seen is that this funeral pyre only goes up to about the waist, maybe a little bit higher, almost like it's meant to be a table. And then after the women are done, they set her on this pyre with basically a flat piece of some kind of deep red wood as like a tabletop almost. And they pose her pretty much hands crossed over the midsection. Her hair actually comes down over the edge and hangs straight down towards the ground. They start to cover her in different herbs, so green leafy things. You can identify most of them as non-edible herbs, but things that are specifically used in like poultices and other healing rituals. And it starts to get a very perfumey area. You do notice that her chest is, other than covered with the cloth, there's nothing on her chest, whereas the rest of her body is littered with little pieces of flowers and these kind of herbs.
All right. Got to make those areolas pop, you know?
Once they finish up, she's looking pretty damn good up there on that little funeral pyre, and they go outside and basically keep watch over the door, and anybody that wishes to come in and look at the body is allowed to come in with an escort. There's two very burly-looking priests that each have a warhammer that stand guard in the center the whole time.
Alrighty, I guess I'll take note of her possessions. Are they burning them with her, or did they put them off to the side?
They've taken all of the possessions and put them in a small chest, or an appropriately sized chest, I should say, and they've moved the chest off to the side. And I mean, you're free to ask them questions. They're not being any sort of inhospitable. They're just going about doing their jobs.
No worries. I'm actually just gonna observe at this point. I'm not gonna ask them anything about it. I just wanted to see if that was happening also. What else is happening there? Okay. And Douglas, I actually did do it. I rolled a 3, and as per his rules, I rolled again and rolled a 4. So that's why it went from, I think I was at 28, because I think I rolled a 7 twice. And that would have put me at 28 hit points, then add 4 plus the 2 from the con. That's how I got the 34 on that. At least I think. Let me take a look.
Yeah, I'm showing 28 still on the combat tracker anyway.
Okay, yeah, it might be 28 combat tracker. I've got it at 34 over here.
Okay, as long as it's over there.
I see 34 on his sheet.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I think I got it. I haven't changed my spell loadout or anything, and I don't know. Do I get another spell as I went up a level to be able to have in my
I believe so. It's under cleric, so look at that for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what we come up with before. Is each time I went up a level, I actually was able to have one more spell that I could have.
Yeah,
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, you can prepare one more spell, and you gained a second level spell slot, so you should have 4 and 3 of first and second, respectively.
That's what I got, so that's correct.
Okay, so you can prepare one more spell.
Nice. Little something for us in a big level. Well, the stat change is really nice. Never mind.
Yep. I just wanted to make sure everything was situated before we really got too much further.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, combat tracker is actually updated on my end, so you might just need to reload it, Casey.
I see it now. It's updated now. It wasn't before, but now it is. It's just, I get a little concerned whenever I see your HP lower than mine.
All right, so if you're just going to wait around here, then it's going to take about 3 to 4 hours for a messenger to come for you.
All right.
Okay, so if there's nothing you want to do in that 3 to 4 hours that are just kind of happening there, then a messenger will come for you. He's from Kuwait, obviously, and he asks you to follow him because your presence is requested.
All right.
She probably looks a lot better now than she ever did at any point in her life.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, she did try to get herself all made up for the first, game, but then not after that. Okay, so as you approach his mansion, you notice that the guards are basically on high alert. There's a ton of them, more than there usually are. They'll bring you into the anteroom, and he's standing there in what looks like priestly ceremonial robes that are black, and they're trimmed in this almost fluorescing purple color from the same thing from the sky, basically. And he just looks at you and says, "Today is
All right. Well, I'm just, like I said, I'm just going for the observe, point at this. She's not really part of my religion. I will do basically last rites, I guess, over her and let her go on with the ceremony that he's got going on."
Yeah, he says, "This is not a sad day for Dubant. She will return to the true father of the world."
Still, I did lose a friend.
Yes, but celebrate her death, for she will return to the true father of the planet, and this father will welcome her, for she is an apt sacrifice. What I called you here to discuss is what you wish me to have done with her things. Traditionally, we do not burn the possessions of the people, and since you were the last one with her, and I do not know where the rest of your party is, I thought it would be appropriate for you to be able to determine her wishes.
Well, she did make a request that we take the bow specifically, but I think that if we just take her possessions and give one or something each to everybody as a memento, I think it would be a good thing.
Then that shall be done. I will let the priests know that you are to take her objects after we finish the ceremony. Is there anything you wish for me to do, as per her religion, during the ceremony? I know that there is a strict code for my ceremony, but there is still the ability to give her the rights that she chose.
I gave her the rights of my faith, but I'm not familiar with what her faith actually was.
Then we shall hope all is well with the ceremony that I will give her. Do you know where the rest of your party is? Perhaps they wish to be there to view the ceremony.
I'm assuming I don't know anything at this point, right?
Did Dubont know where Douglas was?
Dubont was there when I showed up. However, they never really had the chance to speak on it, for the fact that the two of them only kind of met and then were on the run.
Okay. Then I will roll and see if the Mistress of the Duck recognizes that the contest is over and therefore would let you know about the funeral. All right. So at about this time, the Mistress of the Duck, well, maybe about an hour earlier than this, seems to go into a frenzy, closing up the duck and telling everybody that there is nobody entering allowed in or out after a certain time. They need to go tell all of the guests that if they wish to leave between the hours of blank and blank, they must leave either before those hours start or after. All amenities will be taken care of. No extra tabs will be added to their bill. But the Duck is closing for those hours and will not be open to any form of people entering or leaving. She also, at some point during your duties, comes over and tells you directly that the funeral is happening during those hours and you are free to go to it if you so choose, but do know that there will be no way in or out of the Duck at all for any reason during those hours.
How long is that approximate hour time frame?
6.5 hours.
6.5 hours into the night?
No, it's about midday, so... actually, no, you're right. It is night. Because about midday to 4 hours later would be just starting of sunset. That makes sense. So yeah, it would be basically sunset to 6.5 hours after sunset.
Okay. I am going to flex my business sense here, having just done her books for her and been in the middle of doing more of her books. To let her know approximately how much profit she's losing by doing this, and will see myself and will decide that I do want to be a part of that funeral.
Okay, well, roll it to see how right you are.
Let's see, what is my
Profession.
profession? There is no profession.
Okay. Then I guess we're going to have to go with insight if you're trying to be truthful about it, and deception if you're trying to lie to make it sound worse.
No, absolutely going for insight.
All right. She doesn't seem to believe your numbers, but she also doesn't care. She says a dead guest looks much worse than a few hours of income missing.
Oh, that is true. Wait, a dead guest?
Yes, a dead guest. This is for the sake of all of our guests that wish to have protection. They will be staying in. For all of our guests that wish to witness the funeral, they will be leaving.
Oh, geez, are you telling me that we're all at risk if we open the door in this time frame?
I will personally kill anybody that even so much as cracks the door.
Oh, geez, that's some big deal.
If I was there hearing this, I'd be very concerned.
What do we... If I leave for this presentation, this funeral, is that gonna cut into my paycheck?
Partially, simply because you won't be here to earn tips, but I won't count it against you for your daily.
Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and make my way on down over there when it comes to be about that time.
I also advise that you wear your uniform even though it may not be as socially acceptable at a funeral, but it will provide you more protection than the armor you were wearing.
Oh, I wasn't wearing armor before, so wearing armor is generally a good thing. at the same time, I do in fact like wearing this clothing. It does feel really nice. That's why I wanted to purchase some anyway, so I could wear it normally. I don't understand what you mean by it being not socially acceptable. It's really comfortable.
She gives you a look like she doesn't understand how you can be so dumb, but she's not gonna say anything.
It is okay by me.
All right. So anyway, Kuwait basically finishes up telling you a basic overview of how the ceremony is going to go. There'll be a small procession in. Anybody who wishes to see will sit in the inner and outer rings of seating that surround the general courtyard of the temple, or the ceremonial area anyway. There will be a prayer said. He'll perform the rites. The final, like the main priest, so the head priest will light the pyre, and then essentially the god will see fit whether or not to accept the offering. He suggests that should the god accept the offering, you may not necessarily be in the safest of company, being in either of the rings or even near the temple, as the gods are fickle creatures and sometimes smite for no reason other than to smite.
So I'm hearing this too, huh?
Yeah, he's letting you outright know that this could be dangerous, and you are welcome to be there, but there's a possibility that you may get smoked by a god.
Yeah, okay. So I don't like that idea at all. And I will proceed to go to the back of the area, basically making sure I have a very quick escape route, and thinking to myself, I am not up and rested for this.
Not at all. You just spent all of your mana, or all of your, it's not really mana, but you spent it all.
Yeah, I sure did. So I'm sitting here with no spell points and all that, and just going, okay, just sounds like a little bit more of a thing than I thought was going to happen. I basically get her things and make sure I'm ready to move quickly away from the area.
I mean, you can go get her things before or after the ceremony. He basically said after the ceremony because he wasn't sure if you were going to have enough time to do it now. So if you want to go run off and do it now because there's nothing else to talk about, he'll advise you that basically you have about 40 minutes for the final preparations to begin, and then you should be back in the area if you're going to observe. If you're not going to observe, you should be indoors.
All right. Well, I do want to observe and see her off for the final, and actually really see what the hell's going on here. But I'm going to get her things. I'm going to take them back to the inn that we were, staying at, that we get our free thing. And then I'm going to come back. And like I said, I'm going to be on the outskirts, paying attention from a distance.
Okay. You'll notice when you get back that there's actually a rather large line forming to come inside. That's way too many people for the actual area, and there appears to be a priority queuing system wherein certain people are allowed in despite their rank in society. For instance, Draza and the innkeepers are allowed in, but a clearly rich merchant hasn't been allowed in yet. When you show up, you're allowed in, but there are some people from the docks that were on the ship well, not necessarily on the ship, but were the crew of the ship that you guys took, that are not allowed in just yet. And it doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason, except people that came into contact with her seem to be coming in first.
All right.
You want to talk to any of these people or anything, or are you just going to go straight in and take a seat near the door?
Yep. Go in, take a seat near the door, and observe, because this is totally foreign to me at this point.
All right, roll perception while you're in here, just quickly. Man, now I don't know which one to choose. You rolled two really good options there. Wait, do you have a +7 to perception? Oh no, that's Douglas. Oh, okay.
No, I have a +7 in perception.
No, Douglas rolled in the dice tower right after you, and I saw two perception rolls. But then I realized one was +7, one was +2, and I was confused.
I figured it might be a Douglas walks in and looks for Ghost Wolf. Or not Ghost Wolf, for War Dog.
Yeah, fair enough. Douglas immediately notices War Priest, and War Priest definitely notices Douglas. Douglas is wearing basically nothing in a very, very light form of fabric, but oddly looks better than he's pretty much ever looked. He looks much less like a dumb kid and a little bit more like a hooker.
I say, interesting attire for a funeral.
Oh, thanks. It's my new armor. It's very comfortable. You want to feel the fabric?
I check out the fabric because I'm really curious in what he's dealing with. I kind of tug on it a little bit. I want to see, not enough to rip it, but I want to see if he's actually got armor here or if it's just a nice looking set.
This fabric is very, very sturdy. It has no right to be this sturdy with as thin and light as it feels in your hand.
All right. I totally accept the fact that he's wearing armor.
Okay, so
And I say you look. I tell him you look really good and obviously well protected. Good choice.
Of course. It only cost me. It only cost me about $2,000, and I have to work it back. But I'm working on it. But I don't have to pay interest. 0% interest.
All right. Do I actually figure out that he just sold himself into slavery from that?
yeah, because he's also wearing one of those slave collars. But in addition to that, you guys both rolled really well on perception, and I have to tell you what else is going on. So only like two very prim and proper people in the audience seem absolutely abjectly horrified by what Douglas is wearing. The rest of them seem to be like, this is normal everyday occurrence, whatever. You also notice that only the center courtyard of this area is open air. The rest of it has a covering which slants backward so as to drop the rain on the outside of the building.
Cool. Nicely designed.
You also notice that the supports of this little piece of roof are actually made out of some form of hazy purple crystal.
All right. So, in my memories here, that wasn't all that long ago, this entire place was having some real earthquake issues. So, I'm going to make sure I'm right next to one of these supports or whatever. And again, very quick access to get outside should anything start shaking.
All right. As you guys are probably pretty well settled, um, maybe about 20 minutes in, a small procession of people just seem to be coming in on their own, just filing in. It seems like they're just letting anybody in now. Um, and yeah, roll perception again, because this is kind of difficult to see, and I want to make sure you do see it.
There's a lot of people over there. Look at them all.
Well, Douglas doesn't notice, but a hamster genuinely saunters in and starts climbing up the stand and just sits right next to War Priest.
Nice. All right. Do believe I know who our hamster is.
He also looks a bit different in his hamster form right now. Um, the fur seems to be darker, and it's almost like he might have a little bit of a scar forming on his back. But anyway, as the other people walk in, a few of them bring flowers and put them at her feet. They seem to be blue orchid type flowers. Douglas, do you want to roll to try to figure out any of this stuff knowledge-wise? Or War Priest, do you want to figure out any of this stuff?
Sure.
Will this be a religion roll?
For War Priest, yeah. You could do a religion roll as well, or you could do an insight and see if you can glean anything from traditional ceremonies.
Douglas knows nothing of traditional ceremonies. He's never seen somebody die before, except for his parents. But they didn't really have a ceremony for him. They just kind of left him up.
They just kind of exploded. But anyway,
It was
War Priest
kind of
notices, or rather realizes, that a lot of these flowers have been used in other death ceremonies, and they're probably traditional to at least this religion, if not a few others. As the same for the herbs that have been placed on her, they're more related to death than not.
Okay.
Anyway, once everybody's situated, a horn blows and a tune on a horn basically is played. It's a very low, drudging kind of song. And as it plays, Kuwaith walks in his ceremonial robes, and he's holding what appears to be a dagger, which has a handle of silver and a blade of the same kind of hazy purple crystal that the supports are made out of. And all the rest of the clerics file in behind him and take up what appears to be kind of like a military style surrounding of the body, all facing inward, with their heads bowed slightly. And then Kuwaith starts to speak in Chaltish, which Douglas doesn't really have a translation for just yet, but War Priest will basically recognize it to be a set of prayers. He's invoking the gods of Chult, and he names one specifically, the old god of death, basically, is what the name translates to, and he starts to kind of chant with the tune of the horns. Nobody in the audience is chanting, but they are doing callbacks occasionally on certain phrases. Are either of you going to try to mimic the callbacks?
Nope.
Yes, but probably terribly.
Roll your performance then. Actually, that's not too bad. You seem to start feeling a bit somber as you're making these callbacks, and it's starting to invoke some pretty deep feelings, deep-rooted feelings inside of you. You're going to have a +4 on performance checks for the rest of the ceremony. Anyway, after probably about 15 to 20 minutes of chanting, it starts pouring deeply. Like, the rain is so hard to see through, and it forms a column in the center, basically blurring everything out, and nobody in the center is even reacting as if they expected this to happen. Nobody in the crowd seems to really be reacting all that much. A few of the younger people, or the people that are clearly foreigners, seem to be bewildered as to why the ceremony is continuing in this state, but they're obviously not saying anything. At this point, I definitely need both of you to roll perceptions. All right, it's really, really difficult to see through the water, but it looks as though Kuwaith just moved forward and threw back the top of his robe, leaving his chest bare as it fell down to essentially his waist, and held the knife high up in the sky, and then just moved quickly, putting it straight through her heart, essentially, as he finished a prayer. Roll perception one more time.
All
right, tell me high or low. I'll let War Priest decide since he's the priest. Did you hear me? High or low, War Priest?
Oh, I said low. Did you hear me? Obviously not.
Nope, I missed it completely. But at the exact moment the dagger plunges into her chest, a streak of purple lightning comes straight in and strikes the dagger and Kuwaith at the same time. And you start to see in haze another figure, basically standing on top of the body by all looks of it.
What the? Do not tell me he just raised her from the dead.
No, inside.
Turned her into a zombie.
No, don't you remember he was going to invoke the god who's going to show up or something like that?
Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind that so much. I'm going to be real upset, though, if she turns into one of these zombie things.
Nah, that's probably not her. That's probably just the god.
Okay.
He says nonchalantly. You might want to roll that insight.
Douglas has
Alrighty.
never seen a god before. As far as he knows, this is normal. This probably isn't normal, but it might be.
Well, Douglas knows that it's not normal for you to stab a corpse and then have somebody jump out of lightning and stand on top of it. So obviously something's up.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
War Priest definitely knows that you don't usually stab bodies in the middle of burial ceremonies, and certainly do dead bodies not suddenly spring spontaneously somebody on top of them. So obviously either something was just summoned or something just teleported here and is now standing on top of the body. And you're not quite sure what it could be, because the only thing that it sounded like he was invoking was, for the most of the ceremony, was the name of that god of death.
Yeah, okay. What do you think my guy thinks his chances of something seriously going bad here? Because I'm getting the feeling that something bad is going to happen, and I'm not sure I want to be too close to it when it does.
Well, roll your insight one more time to figure out that, and then I guess I'll let Douglas choose high or low.
Low.
Well, this is a ceremony, so things probably aren't going to go all wacky in the middle of a ceremony. That would be pretty weird. That's what the insight's telling you. And man, Douglas, low it was, huh?
Always.
Okay. I need you both to roll Constitution saves. All right, the thing that was summoned to the middle of the circle begins to speak, and Douglas doesn't understand it. The people in the crowds seem to be terrified but unsure of whether or not they can run. Some of them are paralyzed in fear. Oops, I forgot to roll for the hamster. The hamster activates his aura of good, and War Priest is pissing himself. He's fairly certain that this is at least deity level, if not complete deity.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
Look at Douglas over there making his save somehow.
It's pretty damn cool. Okay. I don't agree with you, Douglas. I think it's time to go. I think it was time to go even before this happened. And for some stupid reason, I decided to stay.
I mean, you can go. I want to see what goes on. This is just getting interesting.
Okay, War Priest, exit stage left.
As War Priest tries to exit, he notices that the rain has turned red. Are you going to go into the rain to get through the exit?
If I need to, I do believe I will.
Okay, roll another con save as you first touch the water. You can power through it, but it hurts. It's burning hot, almost scalding, and it appears to be eating through the clothing that got wet.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, now that I figured this out, I'm going to be about as far away as I possibly can without going into this rain then.
All right, that's probably where you were sitting. That's the best exit, and it's as far away from the center of the circle as you can get in this circular area.
I'm going to... Actually, you know what? Don't look around for something that I could put over my head.
There's really nothing free here. You could attempt to remove the seats or the seat backs, because the seats are stone, but the seat backs have been kind of like one long bench piece of wood. So you could break it and try to hold it over your head. But the deity is actually speaking, so you may wish to listen to it a bit before you try to leave, since we haven't gotten to the point where you actually heard any of it.
All right. Well, I will listen for a little bit then.
Damn, that was like a burn. Yeah, maybe you should sit down for the ceremony.
Stay out of the rain, buddy. It's like acid.
So the hamster moves in between you, covering you both with the extent of his aura. Um, I don't know if he knows whether or not that will help or not, and he doesn't have any way of communicating whether or not he thinks that'll help, except to just do it. So you can make what you will of it.
I now see the hamster.
You now notice that awfully good hamster just sitting there. What a good boy he is. He looks like a hamster you knew once upon a time. Squeak, 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 squeakin', squeakin'.
High five, buddy. Glad you can make it.
Anyway, the god basically is demanding to know who summoned him, and Kuwaith answers in a very respectful fashion. It's also pretty important to note that none of the priests nor Kuwait seem to be burning or being harmed by the rain in any way. And he asks, well, the deity asks Kuwait what he was summoned for. Kuwait makes a very respectful offering of the body and the soul. The deity just kind of gives an unhappy sounding chuckle and tells Kuwait that the soul is gone for the moment, but he'll accept it later. And then let me see if things go any differently. Would one of you like to roll for Kuwait?
Why not? What am I rolling?
D20 plus 8. Okay. Yeah, things are not going so good for Kuwait here. So Kuwait tries to make a request, and the god immediately tells him to shut up, and then proceeds to look around the crowd and ask who would defy Kuwait in his request to see if there are any bold enough to defy this man.
I have the right to remain silent?
For the record, Kuwait's request was to keep the power that would normally be given to the sacrifice since her soul is gone for the moment, as opposed to relinquishing the power that he got for the contest.
Okay, hold on. He basically is trying to keep her soul?
Not her soul. She was given a certain degree of power as part of the contest, but she never knew and she never used it. And the god does not like what Kuwait is asking for, because basically her soul would continue to keep this power and his would relinquish it because he was the winner.
Well, I do kind of think that's bullshit. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do. There's a 25% chance that I'm gonna say something. So I'm gonna roll, and if I get under 25%, I will say something. If not, I'm going for self-preservation. All right. Well, it would have been 80 something, so don't matter.
The god asks.
So I won't be saying anything.
The god asks one more time, looking around the room, specifically looking at each person individually, or at least that's what it feels like to them, and asks if anybody would defy this request of Kuwait, or if it should be granted uncontestedly.
Douglas is confused because he doesn't know what's going on.
Douglas also feels like he's supposed to say something simply because the person in the center of the room stared directly at him and asked him a question.
Was there one specific phrase that continued to be uttered as part of the callbacks?
Yes, there were two specific phrases that were part of the callbacks. One of them seemed to be an uplifting, and one of them seemed to be not so uplifting, but more of an acknowledgement.
Douglas is going with the acknowledgement and repeating it.
Okay, roll your performance. Damn it, I've rolled this die twice and it keeps falling out of the thing. Oof. Douglas, you're starting to feel a bit stronger, a bit more poised, if that makes any sense, and a bit like things have gone a bit awry. To everybody else, you look exactly normal, except you've just changed your posture and you seem more confident. The hamster is squeaking a bit uncontrollably at you.
Well, Douglas feels much more comfortable.
What War Priest just heard was Douglas look straight into the center of the circle and answer with, "It is the will of the gods, and it must be done." And I'm sure that War Priest is very fucking confused, but he knows that this is exactly what Douglas just said.
And I just, yeah, exactly. Totally confused, wondering what the hell is going on, pissing my pants. You gotta remember I'm pissing my pants here, too.
Of course, the gerbil has to learn not to sit so close.
Golden showers.
It was a golden opportunity for Sasmo to see his friend off.
Singing in the rain.
Go ahead and roll insight, though. To Douglas, the creature in the center looks absolutely as happy as can be. To War Priest, he seems to be acknowledging that there is some form of honor in the room, and that creature in the center seems pleased by this fact, but very somber about it as well. And then just it looks straight at Kuwaith and says something, and then Kuwaith falls over. And then the creature basically lightning strikes his way back up to the sky, and roll perceptions. The rain has now gone a light blue. The sky has opened up again, and you can see, well, if you can see through the rain, which you can't right now, you would normally, the sky would look like it does right after dusk at night. And the priests have all reached forward and said one word together, and the pyre is now on fire with that same kind of purple flame color, anyway, and the whole pyre is burning.
Kuwait along with it?
No, Kuwait's on the ground, and he's not happy in any way, shape, or form, but he needs to finish the ceremony.
Got it. Okay.
On the God's exit, Douglas is going to use the second phrase he's been taught, the more uplifting one.
Roll performance. Purple lightning strikes the body 3 times, and that flame becomes a deep purple, and basically all of the clerics bow straight to the ground immediately after firing off their flames, and they keep their heads pressed to the dirt. What
Warpriest has slightly more respect for Douglas. Slightly.
What Warpriest just heard was, "Bless this offering, O gods of Chult, bless this offering, and make her eternal."
All right. Seeing as there's no longer a god there, and his presence is no longer making me myself, I use somebody's some robe or whatever to wipe myself up a little bit without them noticing, of course, and tell Douglas, what the hell was that all about?
I don't know, it seems like it was the right thing to do.
And why did you think that was the right thing to do?
Because we're in a funeral. Clearly you continue the procession.
You're basically speaking the words of the gods, and they are answering you.
Well, that's pretty cool. Does this always happen?
Well, put it this way. I try to talk to my God every day. At least every day, maybe 3 or 4 times a day. And he does, he kind of looks my way a little, but he never talks directly to me.
Isn't that what the magic is? Isn't that him talking to your soul? He's going to reach over and stick his hand over your heart.
Trying not to be extremely insulted by this, Warpriest says, okay.
Warpriest also feels that Douglas is incredibly hot. Like, his skin is getting to the point where you can feel the heat emanating off of him when he touches your breast.
Oh, but don't we all know that Douglas is incredibly hot?
I meant physically, not
Especially in the
charismatically.
outfit of Speedy boy. Boy toy extraordinaire.
Anyway, I believe there's a ceremony going on.
No, the ceremony is officially ended, but the rain is blue now, so nobody else seems to be leaving, and those priests have their heads straight to the dirt. They are not moving an inch.
Well, I'll tell you what, I need a rest. So I'm going to head back to the inn, and I'm going to tell Douglas it's probably a good idea to come with me. And I reach down and try to put the hamster on my shoulder as I do this.
There's a ceremony still going.
Well, the hamster...
It's pretty much over, right?
Roll an insight.
Roll insight? Okay.
Yeah, this ceremony is definitely over. Anybody that's staying is just staying to watch the body fully disintegrate in the flames, which looks like it'll take several hours to do.
Yeah, I'm not going to stick around for that. I say, the ceremony is over. Let's go.
Douglas wants to see a little bit of the burn.
All right, well, I leave him be. And if the hamster wants to go with me, great. If he objects at all, I let him stay too.
No, Sasmo goes with you just fine. Um, Once you get to the inn and in a room, he'll turn back into the goblin.
All right. And I said to Sasmo, I said, that was a very interesting experience. Do you know what happened there?
He says, yes, he does know what happens. And basically, he's got some new friends that he has to journey with because he promised them he would help them. But he'll check in from time to time. Um, he still wants to help on the quest, but he believes that none of you are strong enough to do that. And what you just witnessed was the gods of Chult taking a soul into their midst. One of his new friends is an old Chaltian goblin who was absolutely terrified of whatever was going to happen, and basically told him that the god could appear, and if the god appears, there's a good chance everybody dies. But if the god doesn't appear, there's a good chance everybody gets hurt because of the rains, and that he should not go, and he should stay in the forest where the gods won't attack because it's the forest. And that his friend gave up her soul for power in the afterlife, and the guy that won gave up a little piece of his soul for power here.
Huh. All right. Hey, future, I would have loved to know about that before I attended the ceremony. Just for future reference.
I was basically giving you every opportunity to ask questions, but you
Yeah, you were, but I just was kind of riding the wave here. Wasn't thinking too much about God showing up to a ceremony for my friend here.
There was a pretty slim chance of that, and everybody rolled exactly right to make it happen, and somehow, the dice agreed that the god would be happy.
Yep, classic dice. It's like the beginning of the game here. 1, 3, 3, 20, 19, 20. Those are my rolls.
Pretty much the gods' rolls, too. 1, 1, 20, 20. He had no middle ground. That's why he asked a second time. Because basically, if nobody said anything, he was going to kill everybody there and then leave.
Yeah, that was something.
It would have, but you would have come back at level 7, so I guess that would have made up for it a little bit. But anyway, basically, Sasmo will tell you pretty much anything he's gleaned off of them, which is that the gods here don't fuck around. They only come for people of immense power, and they only respond to sacred rites. So it has to be a sacred rite, and it has to be somebody of immense power for them to even consider responding. But when they do respond, they come in force, and they're very whimsical as to whether or not people get hurt. He also mentions that you should...
Seems like there's a lot more god activity here in this realm than any of the other ones we've been in so far, right?
Pretty much. He's never met any of his gods or heard anything of them. This is the first time he's ever seen a god. He was just kind of hoping that the aura would maybe let him survive any mass killings, and you too. But the last note he has about this ceremony is basically that don't drink any of the water that came from it. And if anybody tries to give you water from a runoff bucket or anything like that, make sure that you don't touch it. It's not good for you. And basically, he tells you also that what's happened up to date is that when he left the ship, he basically reappeared in the middle of an execution run and had to fight his way out. Which then he found out that the person he saved by fighting his way out because he had to was evil and has disappeared off into the woods and was basically going around slaughtering mercilessly and without reason. Um, and because of this, he's become a fugitive because he helped that guy escape the town, assuming that that guy was probably good because the guy didn't seem to give any indication that he wasn't. So he's off hunting the mass murderer essentially, and he's found a small pack of goblins that have been willing to help him, and he's found a beastmaster that's teaching him about the beasts of this land.
Well, I let him know. I said, sounds like a worthy endeavor here that I would be willing to assist you in.
He says that it's very dangerous, and while he would appreciate your help, he's not sure how the other goblins would fare, because the Beastmaster has not necessarily turned into a humanoid creature in front of them, but has only been a beast in front of them. And that's how he's been securing his place in the group. But, if he finds out that the goblins would not attack you, he'll happily have you on board. He thinks, though, that maybe you should learn a bit more about the religions of this land, as it may prove useful, especially since none of you guys knew what the sky meant, and he learned from the goblins that the sky was the presence of the god. So maybe there's more things like that that you need to know before undertaking other quests.
All right, that does sound like a real good info there. All right. Well, I said, all right. Well, I plan on getting a long rest here, so let's talk again in the morning.
He can't.
I'm going to settle down.
He needs to go because he left the goblins in a very precarious cave, and he's afraid people will find them and kill them. But like he said, he'll stop by in town at least once a week to try to check in on you guys. And then he turns in, he says thank you, basically, for everything you've done so far, and he appreciates it, and he's definitely going to make it back to the quest. But right now, he really needs to go. And roll a insight again. You don't notice anything weird about him turning into a hamster and running out of the room. Douglas, go ahead and roll your perceptions. I'll give you 3 perception checks since you're sitting there watching the body burn.
Okay.
All right, after a little while, a bunch of people start to leave the auditorium, and Kuwaith rights himself and gets in the same pose as the rest of the priests. The second time, you don't really notice anything special, and the third time, you notice that the priests start funneling out as the flame turns black. So it goes from deep purple to a light blue to a pitch black, and then the rest of the... if you stay past the time when it turns black, it only takes about 3 minutes to consume the rest of everything that's left.
If it looks like it's consuming quicker at the end there, I'm gonna stick around for the end of it.
Yeah, it very visibly consumes much faster. Basically, the body is gone now, and the rest of the stuff is just consumed as quickly as it can.
And I'm sure that it probably takes a bit longer than 3 minutes for everybody to get out anyway. Or at least the priest at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And Kuwait stays the entire time until everything is gone. So are you waiting for him to leave, or are you leaving before he leaves?
I'm gonna see what happens now that there's nothing there. And that everything is turned to ash, I guess.
Well, now that there's nothing there, Kuwait stands up and looks directly at you, and he says, "You have not made a friend this day. You better not come anywhere near my palace again, and I better not see you in the city."
What does that mean?
Your life is forfeit. I will destroy you. Do not cross my path. Do not cross my city.
But I'm employed.
Then I suggest you take your employment and leave. Perhaps to a nice overseas area where you can get eaten by a turtle.
Douglas had a bad issue with that before. See, I don't know what's going on. I just followed the ceremony, right?
No, you interrupted the ceremony at a bad time.
Oh, that was part of the ceremony. You say. I'm gonna repeat both the phrases to him. You say this and this when there's a pause, right?
You are a buffoon. Leave the city. This is the only time that you will get this offer. If you do not leave, you will perish.
See, that's an issue. Douglas actually can't leave the city.
Then when I kill you, I shall feed your body to the dragon turtle.
How about I just don't cross your path anymore? Is that okay? I'll just make a point not to show up.
He leaves, and as he leaves molten footprints behind him.
Oh, jeez.
Are you going to leave now?
Yep, I'm going to leave there, go to the place that we were staying in before. You know, where War Priest is now staying.
Okay, roll perception outside. Douglas doesn't notice anything special about anything as he walks to the inn. Okay, Douglas. Roll perception inside the inn. Obliviously, Douglas goes upstairs and goes to bed, I'm assuming.
Nope.
What are you doing in the inn?
Douglas is going in to check on War Priest and let him know what happened. Then, if it's outside that time frame, Douglas is going back to the dock.
You've still got another 2 hours on the time frame. And then I'm guessing War Priest is going to answer the door when you knock. It's probably been about an hour or two, so you're going to end up waking him up.
It's all right. So I will definitely answer the door if he knocks. And if he tells me that he just got a death threat from the same guy that just killed her and summoned a god, I say, it's time to leave. Now.
It seems like it, but I have a contract that needs to be fulfilled.
You better find a way to get out of it.
Do you have 2,000 gold?
Hold on. Let me see what I have. I know I got some. I have 205 gold.
You probably have more than that because of the gold from, what's her name?
Oh, yeah, whatever her gold is.
It still all comes out to a total of less than 1,000.
Yeah. I say, I don't think you're going to be able to buy yourself out of this contract. I think you should find a way to renegotiate and possibly return these fine garments that you have.
You want me to return these garments?
Sounds like they were rather expensive, to tell you the truth.
This is your work uniform, just so you know. You don't have yours yet.
This is just my work uniform, but like, I've still got mine coming, and I've also got some training that I've been doing.
You might want to try to negotiate out of it. You need help with the negotiation, I would hope. But I think that you won't be alive for very long here.
I think we have a prince we need to speak to. Maybe he'll be able to tell us what just happened and why he's so pissed.
Well, I suppose we can, but I would not. I really do think that you're in trouble here because that's honestly, we were just at a funeral of one of my party members. I really like the idea of us not having to go to another funeral. Yours. What do you do?
I completely agree, but he gave me the chance to get out, and like, I can't get my things and negotiate my way out for like another 2 hours. So like, this is probably a good thing to do in the meantime.
All right, well, looks like I'm going to forego my rest. I see this large list of Dubont stuff. What I suggest you guys do, is if you see something here you want, pull it out of it, and I plan on selling the rest because I'm not really gonna.
I can do it.
Hold on to it. I do like the longbow of warning, but it's not like I'm really going to use it. I only like the warning aspect of it.
I can do an assignment so you don't have to pull it out, and then I can just hit the button and it'll auto send or an auto sell.
Okay. Why don't? Would you use that bow at all?
Absolutely not. Longbows are not a proficient weapon for me.
I actually think I have a proficiency for it because of the soldier training. I think the military training. I think I get the martial weapons. Yeah, I get martial weapons, so I could actually use it. I'll go ahead and take the longbow of warning.
You should take the quiver with it.
Yeah, and I'll take that the quiver and the arrows, of course.
You might want to see what you can sell those for if your goal is to buy out Douglas's contract.
Which is true, definitely true. Okay, well, let's see what we can sell them for actually then.
All right, so are you going to go out now and try to sell things? Because it is the middle of the night.
Okay, well, if it's in the middle of the night, I'm not going to be able to do anything anyway till tomorrow. I am going to still attempt to get that long rest.
All right. Douglas, you said you're going to go walk around, I guess, since you got 2 hours left?
I'm going straight to Wakanga.
All right, roll your perception.
He always knows the way to Wakanga.
You notice as you approach the market ward that there doesn't seem to be rain falling in it. It seems to be blood. The rest of the area and the areas you've walked through are just a light blue rain that are falling at torrential downpours, but in the entire market ward, it's blood.
Oh, jeez.
There's also nobody on the streets, and every building is closed up and shuttered. So when you get to Wakanga's palace, everything is closed up and shuttered. There's no guards. It's just completely closed.
I'm going to knock on the front door and say, "Hey, it's Douglas! Is Wakanga there?"
So you're going to shake the gate?
Yeah, and knock on it as loud as possible. Possibly throwing in a bit of a, let's see, minor illusion can be used to make some sound, so I'll try and alert them on the other side of the door with it.
Roll perception at disadvantage. All right, you're not sure, but something else just made a sound, and it's definitely not your stuff.
It didn't come from the other side of this.
Nope, did not come from anywhere in the palace.
Oh, jeez.
So what are you going to do?
Let's see, is there... Can I see inside anywhere?
No, it's completely and utterly sealed up in every way that's possible.
That's really not good. Let's see. This is probably more... Is this more than 3 feet of wood? What is this barricade made out of?
It's a... Okay, you're not barricaded at all. There's a gate and a wall around it. The gate is made out of metal and you can see through it, and the wall is made out of stone and you cannot see through it. And it is definitely more than 2 feet thick of stone. It's also massively tall. Think 85 feet.
Alright. Well, that's not going to go anywhere.
The only way you're getting the gate open is if you can roll the knock spell.
Yeah, and I don't think that's something I really want to do here. So I'm gonna see if I can make a dash for the other direction, or back the other direction, away from the sound, in as roundabout way as possible to get back to where the duck is.
So you're going to the duck or the other inn?
The duck, and I'm going to attempt to spend the rest of the time, if there's any extra time between that trip, kind of evading pursuers.
Okay, well, you spent like maybe 5 minutes maximum getting here. So, I mean, you've still got about 2 hours.
Damn.
Okay, roll. I guess I'm going to go with survival for your evasion. And roll it 4 times.
He's a survivor. Look at that.
Roll your perception. You still hear something pursuing you.
Okay. I'm going to attempt to lose him by throwing minor illusion copies of myself down other alleyways.
Okay, roll survival 2 more times, and then roll perception again. You can do survival with advantage. Okay, there's still something nearby, but you have no idea what it is. And yeah, it's still making noise, and it sounds like it might be an animal of some sort.
Oh, that's very worrisome. Can I tell approximately how far away it is?
No, the rain obscures all of that.
Okay. Well, running seems to be working for the most part, but it's not shaking them. I don't know if I want to hide. Hiding sounds very dangerous. So I'm going to keep running.
I'm getting the combat tracker ready.
Okay. As one of these attempts to run and shake them, I am going to look to turn a corner into some kind of an alley, while also having thrown a bunch of fakes other directions and whatnot up to this point. And then I'm going to see if I can see the roof. I would like to cast Misty Step to teleport onto the roof, and then hide from there, as if to show that I had turned a corner and disappeared, and he was falling a fake.
Okay, that's a very good deception, but first, before you do any of that, I want you to roll initiative.
Okay.
All right. So you do not go first. All right. First thing doesn't notice you. All right. Do your Misty Step cast.
Okay. That's a bonus action, so alongside that, I will also use the minor image or minor illusion in order to continue to create a figment of something that's running in a direction.
All right. Um, that's fine. You're now 30 feet up on a roof.
All right, and from there, I'm going to use my move to drop to the ground and attempt to stealth.
So you went up on the roof, and then you got down off the roof.
No, flatten myself against the roof and move myself away from the edge.
Okay. Roll your stealth.
God, I'm hoping the rain helps.
Thing 2 doesn't notice you. You start hearing a scratching sound at the wall of the thing that you're at. It sounds pissed off. It does not sound happy in any way, shape, or form. But it definitely has your number.
That it definitely does, but scratching underneath.
The wind around you starts to pick up almost like it's intentional, and the air starts to almost solidify. The solid air seems to be pressing down heavily on you, but it doesn't seem to be harming you yet. And now it's your turn.
All right. can I see any other rooftops within within a 30-foot radius?
Nope. You seem to be too low to be near any of the other rooftops and too far away to get to anything within a 30-foot radius.
All right, but does it look like I'd be able to run towards them and then show up over there?
I meant within a 30-foot radius of the edge, not a 30-foot radius
Of the edge, okay. In that case, I'm going to. I guess I'm going to spring up to my feet and start running again.
All right, well, you've only got a 60 square foot platform up here, so where are you going when you get the edge?
When I get to the edge, I'm going to. Well, in theory, I'm going to attempt to jump on the opposite side of whatever that creature is that's on there, and I'm going to jump to the ground and keep going.
The creature on the ground or the creature on the roof?
Creature on the ground.
Okay, so you're running to the opposite side of the scratches.
Yes. And then going to make a jump for it.
A 30-foot jump down.
A 30-foot jump down. I will attempt to feather fall myself.
Well, what's your move speed right now?
My move speed right now is, I believe it's just 30 feet.
Okay, so you need to double move. You won't be able to jump this turn.
Okay. Or to get up and then start moving.
Yeah. A large cacophony of screeching and scratching awaits you on the other side when you get there. You can roll a perception check to try to see if you can see 30 feet down. Visibility is basically only 10 feet at the moment due to the rain.
All right.
So you can see the head of what appears to be a dinosaur of something about 20 feet down, but you can't really make out any further than that. But the scratching sounds come from much lower than that.
Well, that's worrisome. That's more than a little worrisome.
I need to run to the restroom so you can take a few minutes to try to figure out what you're going to do. But basically, there's a group of creatures down below you somewhere, and then there's something else on the roof, and you can't really see it on the roof.
Okay.
Don't forget, if you think you have an idea of where it is to hit it, you do have a 50% chance to hit while unable to see it.
Okay. I'm not sure how I'm gonna get out of this one.
Take them out, man. You got the capability. I'll make it back to my room.
Yeah, that might be a hard thing to do now. What? You're telling me glitter dust doesn't exist anymore?
I think it's fairy fire is the thing that seems real similar to that now. Glitter dust and fairy fire, it basically outlines it and gives you advantage. It's pretty cool. I was just reading about it a few minutes ago.
Fairy fire, huh? I see.
so you're taking your chances with the dinosaur you know or the enemy that's invisible?
Well, I'm going to attempt to cast See Invisible.
Okie dokie. Go ahead and dice tower that. You're going low, I assume?
Yep.
Alright, you succeeded, but now I need to actually look at the thing and see what it does.
See invisible creatures and objects as they're visible and seen to the ethereal plane. Ethereal creatures and objects appear ghostly and translucent.
Alright, you can clearly see an air elemental coming towards you.
Approximately how big is it?
It's pretty damn big.
Shit.
Oh, make an insight check. Roll insight, bud. Come on. You gotta give him an insight check. Damn it, your character did not figure out that I'm a Tempest Priest, and I should be able to wipe that thing off the face of the earth.
Or that bigger necessarily means stronger.
Correct on both accounts. So the air elemental moves to Douglas and attacks him. And I'm guessing failure means that Douglas failed. Save 11 versus DC 13. Yeah, Douglas failed. So
Is that a magic attack?
What?
Is that a magical attack?
Yes.
Then I have advantage versus it wearing my duck uniform.
Oh yeah, you are correct. So I guess let me re-roll it at disadvantage. Okay, disadvantage didn't actually work, but Douglas still succeeded. Yeah, okay, so Douglas succeeded that time. I think you only take half damage for that, but I need to check.
Yeah, with gust of wind.
It does nothing. Okay. So it basically seems to try to pick him up, but doesn't actually do anything.
You lucky dog, dude.
No,
Thrown you quite a distance.
Douglas, roll perception. From from somewhere nearby, a very loud roar basically shook the building. But you can't see it. You just know it's there, and whatever it is huge. Anyway, it's your turn.
Damn it, I don't have any meat on me anymore.
Well, you do have limbs you can use to cut off and throw to the animals.
No, that's not. It's not gonna do it. It's gonna make a very, very convincing act. Wait a second. There were food rations in that group of things that Dubond had, wasn't it? Weren't there?
Yeah, but you guys didn't divide that up yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess we have that all back at the room where I put it.
Damn it. I feel like I would have insisted on food, but probably wouldn't have known that you were splitting up the stuff.
You also didn't know what happened to the stuff. All you saw in his room was a chest of things.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going with a performance here then.
What are you trying to do? Because you know you can fight. Fighting is an option. There's a thing up here, and you can fight it.
Fighting is an option, but there's something going on at my feet.
Well, below your feet, 30 feet down.
Yeah, that sounds dangerous. Because I have a pretty good performance lined up here.
Okay.
Which is to say that I'm going to act as if I had gotten knocked over by the gust of wind, fall down into the dinosaur pile, cast invisibility on my way down, then as a bonus action cast Misty Step to disappear off in the distance while invisible as a bonus action. I'm going to fake my death.
Okay. I mean, I guess you can do that. But it seems kind of dumb. So you're pretending you fell off the building and creating an illusion, and then you are misty stepping 30 feet into plain air and dropping 30 feet?
I mean, I guess I could actually just use an illusion, couldn't I? I can, in fact, use a metamagic for quicken spell to just actually create something that falls down.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you're just going to fall 30 feet, you might as well jump 30 feet down. There's no reason to create an illusion.
Yeah, see, that's an option. I think I do like the idea of just creating an illusion that falls down and disappears into the crowded dinosaurs, and then just going invisible while that happens. And then just waiting.
You can try it. So illusion you can cast just fine. You have to wild magic the other one, right?
Yep. And I am going to do that with advantage using my once per day Tides of Chaos.
Okay. Well, go ahead. You're going low, right?
Yep.
Roll a dex save. You actually fall over. Roll a d100, and if it's, let me know if you're still going low in the dice tower.
Of course.
All right. Well, you don't fall off the building. So what just happened is you created your illusion. The cacophony of scratching stopped for a second. A giant roar happened, and then the whole place started to shake. The air elemental has not moved, though. Or rather, I say, it has moved slightly. It has expanded into your square. Your turn.
Well, that doesn't seem like it did what it should have done.
So what would you like to do now?
Well, I am invisible right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to attempt to run to the other side of the building, and then use
You're
Misty
prone.
Step
You
to
have
get
to get up.
straight to the ground.
You were knocked prone by the shaking of the ground. You need to get up first.
Right. Okay,
So
in
the
that
most
case,
you'll be able to move is 30 feet this round.
all right, I'll get up and move in that direction, and hopefully the air elemental isn't there already.
It's not there, but it seems to sense you moving. I think I may have missed something in D&D 5. What does recharge mean?
I have no idea.
I'm guessing since it hasn't finished yet, that you have to roll that number or higher to be able to do that attack again. But there's no notations in this attack over it.
Once you use a special ability once, and that the ability has a random chance of recharging during each subsequent round of combat. Start of each of the monster's turns, roll a d6. The roll is one of the numbers, and in the recharge notation, the monster regains the use of the special ability.
Okay, so I was right. He can't use it just yet. But that doesn't prevent him from taking 2 attacks at you. One's a hit, one's a miss. So you get slammed in the back for 14 damage as you run towards the other end of the other end of the thing.
Alright, Douglas is going to use shield when he goes to attack him.
You can do that as a reaction?
As a reaction, yep. Which will increase his AC by 5.
So what's your AC?
That should put me at 23.
Damn.
And is that for the first attack or the second attack?
Until it becomes my turn again.
So it's after you got hit and until it's your turn again?
That'd be as a reaction of... It actually says if you are hit, you can use it as a reaction.
What's it called again?
It's called shield. So casting time is one reaction which you can take when you are hit by an attack or targeted by the magic missile spell.
That's very oddly fucked up. But I guess since that's what it says, you can subtract that damage since you didn't get hit.
Okay. I agree, the phrasing on that is very strange. That it specifically dictates that you have to be hit first, and then you can choose to potentially make it not hit.
Roll perception, and then it's your turn.
This is not the time to be rolling poor perception.
Nope, you didn't notice a damn thing. So it's your turn.
No, you're right. Alright, I guess the plan continues.
What was the plan? Run and jump?
Yeah, run, jump, and use, well, not really so much jump at the end there, as much as run, use Misty Step to end up on the ground, and then continue running.
Okay. Misty Step is something you can cast, so there's no issue there.
Yep. As a bonus action. This is definitely turned into something bad, probably. So I believe that would come along the lines of using a dash action in order to run further than normal and use a bonus action to use the teleport.
Alright, so you run, you dash onto the ground, you keep running, and you hear something coming up behind you, and something attacks you twice as you're running. First attack hits, and you feel a bite on your back. And you take 5 damage. There's another thing back there. Also seems to be attacking you.
Alright, I am going to use shield again.
Okay, we'll use it again quick. If you haven't already applied it, I don't see it. Oh, I do see it. You missed, or it missed. And then critically hit. For 8 damage. Man, you got that bad luck on initiative this time around.
Yikes.
Oops, I forgot to target you. That's alright, you're gonna appreciate that I forgot to target you.
I already appreciate it.
Ooh, missed and a hit. That other one was almost a crit. You now took another 5 damage, and now it's your turn. Roll a perception. Well, the good news is they're literally biting you in the ass. So you see 3 raptors attacking you from behind.
Well, that's not good.
You just managed to get in the middle of 3 raptors and an air elemental? Ouch.
Yeah, seems that way.
What he didn't hear before was a T-Rex attacking an Allosaurus on the other side of the building.
Oh dear God. I'm glad I didn't. Talk about piss your pants.
Anyway, what do you want to do about these 3 raptors behind you?
I'm gonna go with make another run for the nearest rooftop and teleport to it.
Where did you try to do evasion tactics? Would you have gone towards the market ward, towards the racetrack, or towards the living areas, or towards the inns, or towards the execution run?
I would have gone towards the duck, and
Market ward
initially,
is raining blood. Would you have entered the market ward?
no.
So then you would have either turned towards the sea, which is towards the living areas, or towards away from the sea, which is towards the execution run.
Well, I've already made a jump for the turtle before, so I think the turtle could potentially save me still. I just need to dump all my cash this time around. And I was working
So you were
so
running
hard
towards the
too.
sea then. In that case, there's going to be no buildings you can pop on because they're all too tall.
Well, that's unfortunate. Is the water nearby?
Nope, you've got 3 or 4 more rounds before you're close enough to even notice if the water's nearby. And you should remember that these were a lot weaker than you thought they would be originally. And you should also remember that they run a hell of a lot faster than you.
That they do, but I have no AoE, and attacking will kill the invisibility, which doesn't seem to be affecting these guys, but might be affecting something else I don't see currently.
I mean, animals have scenting abilities, so
That they do.
I'm just saying, 1 round of attacks took you down to half hit points.
That they did. Alright. Do I think that moving 60 feet is going to get me out of their attack range?
You think running 60 feet is getting you out of their attack range? The answer is no.
Okay. Then that's not worth it. What do I want to use? I guess I'm going to cast Mirror Image and continue to run.
Does mirror image imitate scent?
No, does not seem it. But it does create some actual images if they're going to go for the image over the smell.
They're not, because you are being scent tracked. They already can't see you.
Then they are currently unaffected by the spell.
Yep, that's correct.
This is very unfortunate.
Also, can you see the 3 of them?
Yes, I can.
All right. Your turn. They seem to be completely ignoring your duplicates.
Okay. So I'm going to keep running and fire a firebolt at one of them.
I'm just gonna point out at this point that you should stop running. You cannot outrun them. You know you can't outrun them. You should just take your full attacks.
This is my full attack.
All right, attack then.
God damn it.
Perhaps you should try punching them. You might do better.
Yeah, clearly. But I am going to keep moving 30 feet each turn to keep whatever menagerie is back there from catching up sooner. This, however, does end my invisibility, so if they start relying on sight over scent, there are now 4 images to go for.
There are also now 4 raptors.
Oh god. This is terrible.
Raptor 4 did not get to attack you this turn. He was too busy walking into buildings before to even notice you.
Oh, who put velociraptors on this island?
You had the opportunity to complain about those a little while ago, but I think you just said something about your friend's soul. Well, lucky you, they all missed this round.
Lucky me indeed.
Not so lucky you, they all get to go again before you can move, so they all get full attack.
You know, you're missing everything from about an 18 and down, dude. Take them out.
23 is my current AC.
Shit, take them down. They just beat you almost every time.
It is costing me 1 spell a turn, though.
And it's your turn.
Alright.
Perhaps you should try to wild magic something damaging if you don't have something damaging. Because at this point, you've got 9 hit points left.
That I do. I mean, if you're willing to allow me to wild magic 3rd level spell, I don't have the slots, but I could sacrifice some additional ones.
Wild magic, a 3rd level spell, is not worth it for you. You would only have a 10% chance of success.
Okay. Well, let me see what offensive spells exist here, because I did not take any offensive spells.
Ouch.
I hear Eldritch Blast likes to break things.
Yeah, that's a cantrip, man. You should be able to blow one away.
It is a cantrip, and is the exact same damage as Firebolt right now, just not elemental.
So there you go.
Let's see here. Scorching Ray is my option here, which is basically the same damage as a Firebolt, which is why I didn't take Scorching Ray. Sorry, no, it's 3 rays, so that might be an option then.
You do have 4 Velociraptors to deal with, even if one of them is retarded.
I do. But if I just happen to blow up 3 Velociraptors, that is still 3 less Velociraptors.
True. I'm just pointing out that there are 4, so don't rely on having just 3.
Can you cast Thunder Wave?
Thunder Wave is an option.
By the magic of wild
Yeah,
magic.
that's 2d8 damage plus your stat to everything in a 10-foot.
You're right. That's a good option.
It's the one I got. Now, you just think of that. I'm like, man, why don't you Thunder Wave the bastards? Sorry, 15 feet.
It's in a 15-foot cube originating from me. Then make a con save, or else they take 2d8 thunder damage and push 10 feet away from me, which helps me with the running. So we'll try to Thunder Wave them then.
Going low, I'm assuming?
Yep.
You succeed in Thunder Wave. So target all 4 of them, I guess, because you said within 15 feet of you.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. Target all 4 of them.
Right. So that is a save from them. And then damage. That is really convenient.
Shit, you smacked them good. Even though they took half, they got kind of beat.
And then keep running. They're 10 feet knocked back as well. Well, I guess they're not, because the ones that are standing are the ones who didn't
get knocked back. Yep.
Didn't fail their save. They're the ones who succeeded. And that only happens on the failure. Okay, well that did something.
So they all saved and took damage, but they're not knocked over and they're not knocked back, except for Velociraptor 2.
Which is now dying.
Yeah, you knock one of them down like that. Man, you try to pull it off again. No, they keep coming at you.
They are going to keep coming at you. You ran away, you said, right?
Yep.
forgot that 4 hasn't had a chance to hit at you yet. Is that +5 after or before the attack?
Before.
Then if you're going to cast that, just start casting it at the end of your turn.
And that should make it a miss.
It does make it a miss, but like I said, if you're going to cast that, cast it at the end of your turn, so that way it automatically does all that.
Alright.
You can assume safely that these things are going to attack you until either they die or you die.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption.
And it's your turn again.
Do I try my luck for it again, or do I just take the standard attacks?
Consecutive attempts at the same spell that you have succeeded to cast in the past get easier to cast.
Okay, well, let's repeat that then. Another Thunderwave.
Look at you succeeding again.
Yay! Wait, that wasn't what I meant to do.
I mean, you could half on save, I suppose.
Let me just actually target my things here. Like, it's not Velociraptor 2, because he's quite a distance away right now. And by quite a distance, I mean 25 feet, because he went flying.
Correct.
Are you shitting me?
They probably all have 1 hit point left, or 2.
Yeah, they probably do.
Raptor 3 is stunned and loses his turn. Raptor 2 is unconscious and dying. Raptor Retard attacks. I'm assuming you ran, yeah?
Yep.
Are you going to use that spell for the attack thingy?
If it hits. Which it would have, so
No,
I'll
it wouldn't have.
subtract it.
It rolled a 21. It says it missed.
And it looks like it applied it already, because 21's above my standard AC.
I don't see how it applied it, because I didn't do damage to you.
I don't see either.
It says attack 21 at Douglas. Miss. Effect AC 5. Expired on Douglas. Effect System Shock. Expired on Raptor 3. Raptor 1 hits you, though.
Damn it.
4-4.
Are you serious?
For 4.
Oh boy. 1 HP.
And does Douglas want a Thundercats O again?
Absolutely. But this time he's going to expend a level 2 spell slot on it, so it does twice as much damage.
Okay, roll it.
Sorry, it does an additional 1d8 rather than 2. Let me just
That's
put
fine.
this over.
Do you need it?
I'm at the point now where if I don't do it,
Yeah, that's true. It's a one-shot, and if you don't make it, you're probably dead. So.
yeah. This is going to be... Come on, give me... There we go. Please, Thundercats, save me again.
You are so lucky you cast this twice in advance. You succeeded by 2.
Oh boy. I am very lucky.
Well, do your thing.
Oh, they all failed. Roll your 3d8 and watch them explode. Oh, exceeds by 10, 14, and 14. They all splattered.
Yeah.
Do those exceed their maximum hit points? Because they should be dead if that's the case.
Yes. The damage plus the damage they already had exceeds their maximum hit points. You did not, however, do their negative maximum hit points in 1 damage, so they're not officially dead. They're just dying. So they're dying. But that's good enough.
That is good enough. That means I can run.
Where are you going? The inn or the duck?
Isn't the duck totally locked up? And didn't you say that no fucking way is anybody getting in?
Is the duck still closed down at this point?
You have no clue, but the blood rain is still falling, so you can take your chances by running into it.
Oh, hell no.
So you're going back to the inn then?
To the inn then, yeah.
Alright, go ahead and get yourself a nice long rest at the inn.
Can't believe you made it out of that, bud.
I can't either.
A 1 hit point escape. That's one to brag about.
Out of curiosity, do I just learn Thunderwave now after 3 successes?
I will give you a 50% chance to learn it. High or low?
Always low, but the fact that you asked that tells me that it was probably high.
Yep.
You're correct. Whereas in the last time you won by 3, this time you lost by 3.
I guess that's acceptable. I won where it matters. Which is to say Douglas is still living.
Yeah, not that it freaking matters at this point. Jesus. I could just see you waking my ass up. Hey, buddy, I need a little help. What the fuck happened to you?
There are dinosaurs and an air elemental.
Why are you playing outside?
I told you I went to Wakonga. And his door was locked.
I told you we'd see him in the morning, man.
I had to see him now. Time is of the essence. I can't be in town.
Add 600 experience to your thing, Casey. Because if I do it, it'll just split it among the party.
Okay.
Lucky dog. I wish I was there, but then again, if I was, that would have been really easy if I had spell points. I would have showed up with no spell points. It would have been a mess, but if I had just 2, it'd have been great.
For the air elemental, anyway. For the rest of the dinosaurs, it would have been pretty difficult, especially since
I would have been.
loud.
I would have been using gust of wind on that air elemental, and he never would have got close.
So I did manage to
Either
slip away
that or-
for most of it.
Yeah, you did good.
Just not the raptors.
But hey, now you killed 4 of them. You can tell Dubon.
I can tell Dubont that I am now the slayer of raptors. I think I have a part of her soul in me or something, so I could probably tell her. Or maybe that's what allowed me to kill them.
No, not at all. Those effects didn't go in until you got a long rest.
That's alright, I can still think so.
I'm sure you can. So
This is Douglas we're talking about.
The player needs to roll 2d6. All right, Douglas. You can pick A or B for the 2 and the 3. So which order do you want them to be in?
B
Equals
MC squared.
B equals 2 or 3?
B equals 2.
You can add 2 ability points, either split up or together, to any one of your stats there. So the ability stats: strength, dex, con, whiz, int, charisma.
Okay. Done. I've gained the things that Dubont failed with: intelligence and wisdom.
Okay. So you can also, let me see. I gotta look at your character sheet. Up your proficiency bonus by 1, and you now take all ability checks on advantage on all ability checks having to do with your profession. In this case, you're professional whore and a professional accountant.
Okay. So I'm having a hard time actually putting in this proficiency bonus here. It's actually not letting me put things into here. Oh no. My passive perception.
It's not letting me at it either. Okay. In that case, I will just have to give you a different bonus for that. So,
I could just write in sorcerer level 5 and that'll work. Even though I'm not.
yeah, but that won't scale everything. So stick yourself sorcerer level 4 again. And instead, I'll give you 1 level 3 spell slot.
Oh boy, level 3 spell slot. If only I knew some of these spells.
Well, just think. Now you can wild magic them in.
I tell you what, man, you somehow pulled that off. You had a lot of spell points.
I do, and that's the benefit of being Douglas.
Yeah, I guess wild mage, right?
Very much wild in this mage.
Also, you'll be able to understand Chalton, but you won't be able to speak it. That's just a side effect of being touched by a Chalton god.
Okay.
Anyway, so in the morning, War Priest will notice that you're here and not at the dock, and also notice that you're looking absolutely radiant. You look amazing, especially for somebody that almost got eaten by raptors last night.
No shit. Does his stuff look all bitten up, or did it survive everything flawless?
His armor is just perfect.
So looking at him, I would have no clue he was at 1 hit point.
Nope. The only way you'd know is if he told you. Although last night he did probably come in bleeding.
I missed most of that. You said the only way, and then everything else was gone.
The only way you'd actually know is if he told you. But last night he came in bleeding, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
There's a blood trail all the way to your bed, but you don't have any cuts.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what little kids do. They get all cut up and then they heal overnight.
And I look at the blood trail and I know a little bit about it, and I say, whoever made it to this bed who wasn't you probably died. What the hell happened?
Velociraptors.
And where's the dead guy?
Oh no. I didn't die.
Who was the one that bled all the way to your bed?
Well, that'd be me.
Okay, how did you heal?
I slept. I feel better in the morning.
There's something seriously missing from this picture. Seeing as this is, I'm assuming that I can come up with the only possible way he got better is through magical means. And I want to know how he gets these abilities to do this type of stuff. So, what's going on, Douglas? You're not telling me something, bud.
I'm telling you everything. I just slept and then I felt better.
Okay.
People do seem to heal abnormally fast on this island.
Alrighty. Is that something I can just accept, or am I going to just...
Well, in D&D 5, basically you heal all your hit points after a long rest, so it would be common for people to go to bed battered and wake up doing much better. They would look worse for wear, but they wouldn't be worse for wear. Douglas, on the other hand,
Man, I
looks
tell you,
immaculate.
it's so much different from first, second, and third, and 3.5, where you need a week and a half to heal up that many hit points.
Yeah, I know. That's why I use the long rest at the end of every battle, just if there's not going to be another, just so that way I remember that you guys have had a long rest.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm going to try to make sure I've been blowing through spell points right and left. Every time I go to sleep, I don't have a single one left.
Yeah, that's how you expand your magic. You just use it all, and then it comes back bigger. It's like doing weight training. The more you use, the more you get the ability. It's kind of like making yourself a bigger sponge that accepts more into you.
All right. I guess I'll go with that.
You know,
All right. So this is what I plan on doing here, my friend. We need to get you out of here. So I guess that comes down to getting you out of this contract. We do have her stuff to sell, and I don't know between the two of us who's going to get a better pricing. As you're a merchant, and I'm just awesome at persuading and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know.
I'm a merchant. I'm a journeyman of equity and wealth services. Douglas Winchester, I'm very good at my job.
All right. Well, I have grown a particular fondness to the longbow of warning simply because it's of warning and we seem to be needing that a lot. So I would like to hold on to that just for that aspect. But if it is actually worth a lot of money to get you out of this contract, that might be a better way to do it. So, do you see anything in her inventory that you absolutely have to have?
Food. I could use some food for the road. All of mine went missing, remember?
Yep. Okay, we'll grab her rations.
Douglas, you do remember that you're not going on the road anytime soon. You're supposed to be back at work already. Also, you now have access to the duck's selling capabilities. So, for a fee of 10%, she will sell anything that you want, magical or not.
Well, I mean, that's a good place to sell things. And I need to keep up the illusion of it just being me doing the selling stuff. I need to be at work. So that sounds like a good place to go for that.
All right.
If I had time, I'd go out on my own and do it. But
Well, do an insight check first to see how much you think it's worth. You get advantage on this since it's part of your profession.
right, that'd be with advantage, wouldn't it?
Yes, I just said that. You could probably fetch between 600 and 1,000 gold for this.
That's worth somewhere between 600 and 1,000. The bow.
Roll for the quiver, too.
And for the quiver, it's looking a bit like
1,400.
1,400? Holy crap, that's worth a lot better.
Well, that's a hell of a setup. That looks like it's enough to buy you out, buddy.
That sure is.
What do you say?
I say, let's get to work on the selling.
All right. Well, I'm okay with it buying him out. You know, she died, but it looks like enough to save his life, so that'll work for me.
There is another option here. You don't have to sell the stuff. And we can go through War Priest doing a little bit of training here on his own, and then let you guys purchase some level upgrades through basic hard work and training, and then he would be free at the end of it, and you would have the bow.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like that idea even better, to tell you the truth, but
So it will cost you 60 gold to level up with Douglas. The
all right, all I
levels.
heard is it will cost.
60 gold to level the 2 levels that you would also level, so you'd be up with Douglas, basically.
60 gold? Okay, well, that's not a problem.
So if you want to do that, it'll basically, you'll spend a month in town leveling and getting better at your stuff. Or you can just, buy out Douglas and then continue the quest, whichever you really want to do.
I really think the training is a much better idea. We've been getting in situations that are at the end of our capabilities. I'd like to level it out a little better, so definitely I think that training is a good idea. You agree, Douglas?
Douglas likes training but doesn't necessarily like it in his butt.
I thought Douglas liked being a sponge, expanding his capabilities.
All right, War Priest decides absolutely not to sign up for the duck due to just that one single comment. And I think he'll train at the priesthood. Um, Hopefully not in a very bad way.
So are you wanting to train in your priesthood specifically, or are you going to try to learn about the locals and the local gods?
You know what? I want to learn about the local gods because that's where I'm at right now, and it looks like we're going to be here for a while. So definitely training, the history and all that kind of stuff locally.
Okay. So
And like I said, I want to, yeah, heretic. I actually really do want to go ahead and move that alignment over to lawful neutral, so I don't feel obligated to be lawful stupid.
fair enough.
All right, I will move that then. It still fits under my god for sure. And what do? I bump them up to what, level 6?
Well, I was going to ask first if you wanted to go on a little adventure while you're here, or if you just wanted to skip that and do the level 6.
Let's just skip it and go to level 6. That way we can keep the party together a little bit. More fun that way.
Okay, if you have another, I think it's 65 gold, you'll be able to go up to level 7 and be exactly even. Wait, no, Douglas was 4, right?
Douglas is 4, yes.
Okay, then never mind. You'll be fine going to 6.
Okay, let me go ahead and reduce that. And did she have any gold on her, or is it just
Yeah, there's gold there.
how much did she have?
$181 gold and 8 silver.
All right, so what are we split it up 3 ways or 4? I can't remember.
It would be just 2 ways right now.
Guys, if I remember, we had Fire Tongue or whatever with us, and I don't know if we're gonna put that into it.
Well, you haven't actually used the guide at all. So he hasn't been with you for anything.
Say that again?
You haven't actually used the guide at all, so he hasn't been there for anything. And Sasmo hasn't been here for this.
Yeah, broke up too much, man. I'm not hearing it.
We hired him, but we've never used him.
Okay, then I won't worry about it. We split it up 3 ways, and that would be 60 apiece, so I'll just move that back.
Sasmo isn't here to collect.
We'll just remember to tell him.
So you still want to split it with Sasmo? Don't bother modifying your gold. I can just split it up. I just want to make sure that you want me to do that.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Absolutely. Sasmo is a good friend, and I would never short him money.
Yes, that's the way I feel too. Everybody gets their share, and that's how I'm always going to be. So if any of the questions, come up later on, I demand everything to be fair. It's all part of the way this guy is.
Is there only 1 ration?
Yeah, she didn't actually keep a lot. Anyway, what else do you want assigned to somebody for when I divvy this?
I want the ration.
I will take the bow and I guess the quiver.
You might as well take the arrows too while you're at it.
Yeah, the 20 arrows for sure. I just want the warning ability, man. That's really cool. That's going to be super useful. I mean, danger sense on a cleric. Oh my god, I love it.
All right, so everything's been divvied, sold, and split up.
Except for that single gold.
Correct. If it doesn't have enough, it doesn't try to cash it in for less. It just holds on to it in the party group until you get enough to distribute. And there we go. Sasmo's healed from his last encounter.
All right, I guess I'll see what happens as I level.
Okay, so there's a bunch of special things you guys get for just doing it this way, which is for War Priest, he's going to get advantage on religion rolls concerning the Chaltian religion. Natural proficiency in Chaltian, he doesn't need the ring anymore, not that that matters. For Douglas, he's getting proficiency rolls on any sort of, or not proficiency, advantage rolls on any sort of seduction checks. He's becoming a better businessman, so he's going to have advantage on persuasion, and as a result, he gains all sorcerer level 0 and 1 spells of his training, so proficiency in using all of those, and a 60% chance of success on future wild magic checks.
All right, I'm gonna try to add that into my notes here, so I have it. So I get advantage on all Troll religion checks.
Yep, and proficiency in Chaltian. I guess it would be more Chaltian culture checks, not just religion. So if you're in an awkward situation and you don't know what to do, like shake a hand or give a bow or something like that, you can roll proficiency on knowledge for that.
Okay, I got it. There were two things in my inventory that I wanted to have identified. Can we pay the price on that and get those things done? It's two unidentified items and two unidentified rings. I know that one of them was the one that allowed me to understand languages.
One of the rings that you understand languages?
Yeah, that's what you said. And what we ended up doing way back when was putting Chaltian in as as another language instead of figuring out how to do that ring thing.
So that's the Ring of Translation. It works as the basically as the tongue spell. So it's just a passive effect.
Okay.
For some reason, one of your rings was actually the red duck coin. You still don't know what it does, but you know where it belongs now.
That was one of the items, right? Actually, I think we'd already done that. That was the fifth one. There was two unidentified items and two unidentified rings, and I think one of them was a translation. I know what the other one was.
The duck coin wound up getting traded off, I believe, in order to get that green one, didn't it? The one that
I can't remember.
Jumped on.
I can't remember. I wrote it in. I don't know. However you guys want to.
I don't remember anybody touching the red duck coin at all. Do you remember what the unidentified item looked like?
I don't, man. I'm sorry. We just wrote it in there like that.
All right, then roll a d100.
That's nice. I got max hit points on both of them. Tell them we'll call.
So what level does this put us to?
6 plus whatever experience you had over your previous level.
Okay. You said that I have advantage for seduction, access to all 0 and first level sorcerer spells, a 60% chance to succeed with wild magic, and what happens with the mercantilism?
What do you mean? What happens with it?
You said that I had advantage with it, but I already got that after the after I absorbed Dubon's soul.
You didn't absorb Dubon's soul.
Okay, after I gained power.
Yeah, I said you already had that though.
Right.
And I said you gained advantage on seduction. I'm pretty sure you listed everything off correctly, so list it off again just to make sure.
Advantage for anything involving my profession of both being a whore and being a merchant, as well as seduction, all first and 0th level sorcerer spells, and 60% success chance with wild magic.
You also have a level 3 slot.
And a level 3 slot, right.
Yeah, that sounds
pretty awesome. Oh, what did we, you said something about experience? Do I just, I don't know how to figure out where my experience is or where to type that in, I guess.
It's on the main tab. If you look next to class and level, there's a magnifying glass. If you click that, it'll show you your XP there.
All right. So I should be total. I didn't do it right. I gotta put one more. Okay. Never mind. I think I got it. I screwed up. I had to add one more.
The experience is level 6 experience plus 121 for you, because you had 121 over level 5. Or level 3. Right? Casey, what's level 6 and level 7 experience? Or do you not have that?
I'm pulling it up here. Alright, level 5 is 6,500, level 6 is 14,000, level 7 is 23,000.
Okay.
Sorcerer. Alright, and how long did this training last for?
About a month and a half.
It looks like you added a black glowy ring in, and I guess at this point I really don't know what it does.
Your identify didn't really work on that very well. You learned more about it. It was a ring you had.
Okay, and the jade with something in it is something else.
Much like the blue rock with something in it.
I forgot, what was that?
As far as you knew, it was a soul trapped in a rock.
Okay. Okay. And that's 2 extra spells. All right, this puts us at about the 3rd month in, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that is a little bit of a difficult situation here for good old Douglas here. 'Cause his body's about to start going through some changes he's not quite ready to deal with.
I got call lightning and sleet storm.
I got a lot of spells.
You know, I always thought that a cleric came into its power. You know, all these offensive capabilities showed up when he hit sixth or fifth level because he got his third level spell. But in fifth edition here, I'm just amazed the type of damage output even a low level can do. You know, seeing as a cantrip, you know, you can use it over and over again, and it does a D10. I mean, that's to me, that's every bit as good as a, you know, fighter with a greatsword. You know.
They tried to balance things a lot better this time around. They also made it so that there's 4 levels of character. There's beginner level, which are like 1 through 4. Then there's intermediate / acolyte, which are the next 5 or so. Then there's expert, and then there's godlike. And each one of those have a massive power jump and a massive experience jump in between the segments.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played, you know, anything. I'm playing another campaign where I have a 10th level barbarian, you know, but I started at level 10, and I'm playing next to a guy that's also playing a barbarian, but I went for a half elf and he went for half orc. The difference between the two is ridiculous. I literally do about half the damage that he does, just because he picked a couple feats that went with, you know, half orc. He gets an extra, you know, die when he rolls a crit, and he's like tougher and all that. It's ridiculous. But I don't, you know, I don't really even know how to play my other guy.
You know how you play your guy? The way you damn well feel like it.
Yeah, I set him up with Sentinel because he was supposed to be the tank. I set him up with Sentinel and Polearm Mastery. And I thought that, hey, you know, if you get charged by a group of goblins, you know, this is what the guy's for. But then I learned that you only have one reaction. So the only thing my entire build is good for is one decent attack of opportunity. If there's 2 guys there or more, I can't do anything. They just go right past me because I don't have a reaction for it. It's totally different than what I was trying to build, and it's because I was unfamiliar with how the system works in 5th edition. You know, my guy went Path of the Ancestors, so I basically had some spirits that would harass somebody, and if they attacked anybody but my guy, they would be attacking at disadvantage. And yeah, it looked really, really good on paper, but in functionality, it's just gimp.
Yeah, that's a little Unfortunate, actually.
Yeah, I really tried, and I thought the feats were all set up for it, but with only having one reaction, it's like, okay. It turns out what I really wanted to do was a Cavalier, and a Cavalier at third level basically does the same thing, except he gets to attack them on their action. So if 10 guys come running at him, when they try to run past him, he gets an attack at that point. So I was actually trying to build a Cavalier out of a Barbarian. Didn't work too well.
I just realized it's 11:30, so I'm gonna kill the stream because I figure at this point it's just all leveling up.
Right.
All right, bud.